Okay, let's be real. The AI boom is all anyone can talk about, right? It's just dominating every single headline. But what if I told you the companies getting all the attention aren't where the biggest fortunes are going to be made? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden infrastructure that's, quietly soaking up most of the cash.
I mean, of course, everyone's talking about Nvidia. You can't escape it. Their GPUs are, without a doubt, the engines powering this whole AI thing. And their stock, it's been absolutely legendary. It's the most obvious front and center play out there. And then you've got the other usual suspects, right? The ones actually building the models. OpenAI, Meta, Google. They're the big name architects behind the large language models and AI tools that are really starting to change things. They're the face of this revolution. But here's the thing, that's all just the surface. It's the tip of the iceberg. What most people don't see, what most investors honestly never even think about, is the massive, incredibly complex backbone that makes any of this even possible. So what is actually going on underneath it all? Well, every single new language model, every giant data center, every little AI search you do, it all relies on a foundation built by companies you've probably never heard of. And that is exactly what we're going to dig into. So to really get a handle on these hidden winners, you need to see the world through a new lens. Let's call it the three-layer AI wealth stock. It's a really simple way to map out where the real value is being created. See, most people are just looking at that top layer. The smart money is looking at all three. Okay, so layer one is manufacturing. These are the companies that make the stuff AI needs to even exist. I'm not talking about the chips themselves, but the machines and materials that build the chips. Then, layer two is infrastructure, the whole backbone, from data centers to the networks that connects them. And finally, layer three, the one almost nobody talks about, is power, the raw energy that fuels this entire revolution. So let's start at the very bottom of the stack with layer one. These are the foundries. Think of them as the companies that build the tools for the tool makers. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Let's start with a company called ASML. This might be the single most important tech company on the planet that most people have never heard of. They have a complete monopoly on the crazy advanced machines you need to make the best chips. A total monopoly. Then you have Applied Materials, which supplies all the essential tools. They make money no matter which chip company comes out on top. Just let this sink in for a second. It's a simple little equation, but it is incredibly powerful. Without ASML's one-of-a-kind technology, the chips that power this entire AI boom, well, they just wouldn't exist. Their position is absolute. And you can see how deep this layer goes. You've got Lam Research, who pretty much owns the incredibly complex etching process for these chips. And as all this hardware gets more and more powerful, it needs to be more efficient, right? Well, the silicon carbide producers are sitting right at the center of that massive shift, quietly. Okay, let's move up the stack to layer two. This is the AI backbone. We're talking about the physical real estate and the networks that actually house and connect all this computing power. So meet the new landlords of the digital age, Equinix and Digital Realty. These guys own and run the huge, sprawling data centers where AI actually lives. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, but it is absolutely essential. Every time the world needs more AI power, they just get bigger. But hey, a data center is pretty useless if all the servers inside can't talk to each other at, lightning speed. That's where a company like Arista Networks comes in, building the super high-capacity switches for these AI clusters. And Broadcom? Their real power isn't just making chips. It's providing the interconnects that let these monster data centers even work at scale. And look, this is not just some story about the US. As AI goes global, you're seeing regional champions pop up. Just take a look at Australia, where a company called NextDC is building out hyperscale data centers, putting itself right at the heart of the country's AI future. And that brings us to layer three. This is the most fundamental, the most overlooked layer of them all, the fuel. AI is on a path to use more electricity than some entire countries. The companies providing that power, they are the true quiet giants of this tech world. So here is the crucial takeaway. Everyone thinks the biggest problem for AI is a shortage of chips. That's the myth. The reality, the real bottleneck that's coming for all of us, is electricity. Pure and simple. So who's going to provide it? You've got companies like AES Corporation, which are supplying massive amounts of renewable and battery-backed power straight to data centers. And then there's Constellation Energy, a huge provider of the clean, reliable, always-on power that an AI industry absolutely has to have.
And you're seeing this exact same story play out all over the world. In Australia, for instance, players like Origin Energy are perfectly positioned in large-scale power, grid storage, and even future stuff like hydrogen. AGL is also making that massive shift to supply large-scale renewable power for industry. And of course, none of that power matters if you can't get it to the data centers. That's where Transgrid comes in. They run the high-voltage backbone for Australia. If the country really does go all in on AI, this company becomes one of the most vital pieces of national infrastructure. Period. So when you just step back and look at all three of these layers together, the real play in AI becomes crystal clear. The world is totally focused on the wrong companies. This isn't about chasing the hype of the latest app. It's about owning the foundational infrastructure. People chase hype. It's what we do. But real, lasting wealth, that's built on infrastructure. And this isn't some new idea. It happened during the gold rush, right? The folks who really made the money were selling the picks and shovels. It happened in the dot-com bubble. It happened again with the cloud. And believe me, it is happening again right now with AI. The companies that win, again and again, are the ones that build the foundation for everybody else to play on. So the final question is pretty simple. Now that you see this, are you still going to play the same game as everyone else? Think about it.